Most people, when they come to Twickenham, think of just one thing: rugby, and one of the most iconic sporting stadiums in the country. Me, I've got other fish to fry today, but here you go.
Cole Court, once an old hotel, is now the home to Middlesex Freemasonry. It boasts a fantastic lawn at the back, and inside you will find an incredible array of Masonic artifacts showing the history of Middlesex Freemasonry throughout the ages, all held in a magnificent number of display cases. The meeting room itself is bedecked with portraits of Masons of the past. It is a light, airy space, well appointed, and on the evening I was there, very, very well attended. I was to witness a passing ceremony that night, but before that happened there was a knock on the door and the Provincial Grand Master arrived to award a field promotion to one of the brethren, seen here with the Worshipful Master. Congratulations to Worshipful Brother David North on his first appointment. As the formal meeting concluded, the atmosphere transitioned to one of inclusivity and celebration. Members remained in their seats and regalia as the lodge opened its doors to partners and guests. Worshipful Brother Hugh Saville then led an engaging walking tour, sharing the rich history of the Royal Hanover Lodge. Sound quality wasn't that great, so I hope everything is clear enough for you.
51. The reason why it would be interesting to be here 80 years ago today, because that would have been the 24th of May 1944. And on that evening, this dance ballroom would have been full of American servicemen based at Bushy Park, where of course the Supreme Headquarters Allied Forces Europe with Eisenhower was based. They were extensive users of Cole Court Hotel. The reason it was sold to the Masons was because after the war it didn't have the custom, so it had to be sold. But when you walk on this floor you can feel a slight give in it. I'm not going to take too much longer except to draw your attention to 3 pictures on the wall which link us to, or Freemasonry, to the royal family. This lodge, Royal Hanover, was established in 1878, and it was given the name Royal Hanover. To do so had to have permission, because it was the reason it was given that name was to maintain the link back to King George V of Hanover, who of course was a German, and the Hanoverians had been very close to the British royal family. In fact, so close that Britain would not have won the Battle of Waterloo without the help of the Hanoverians. They were instrumental in winning that war. Anyway, to use the name Royal Hanover required permission, and this was granted by the Duke of Cumberland, who not only gave permission for the Royal Hanover Lodge to be named as such, but also for us to have the use of the Hanoverian crest, which is why it appears on our banner. Other royal links, but maybe not quite so close to this lodge, but certainly to Middlesex, with the exception of this picture. If you look at this picture here, you'll notice the fleur-de-lis, the Prince of Wales feathers. This gentleman here is a very young, well, at the time he was the Prince of Wales, later to become King Edward VII. He looks thin there, but in later life he became very portly, and he was rather fond of the ladies, and thereby upsetting his mother, Queen Victoria, who was not exactly keen on that sort of behaviour, but he was a Freemason. This gentleman here, when painted, that is Albert Duke of York. Albert Duke of York was the Provincial Grand Master of Middlesex from 1924 to 1936. So why did he step down in 1936? The reason because Albert Duke of York became King George VI. and he could not continue as a Freemason, not as certainly as a provincial Grand Master, and whilst he was also the king. However, he did continue his Masonic activities, and the last record of him being involved in a Masonic meeting, or intending to be in a Masonic meeting, I believe was in 1951, when he was going to install the new Grand Master in Grand Lodge, but unfortunately he was very ill. You may remember he had lung cancer, and he was operated on in Buckingham Palace. That was around the time when he was going to install the Grand Master. So we have evidence of him being loosely involved with Freemasonry, maintaining his membership, but not actively pursuing it. The last photograph is this chap here, who looks slightly older now. That is Prince Michael of Kent. Prince Michael of Kent is the current Provincial Grand Master of the Middlesex Freemasons. And he has held that office since 1982. So you can therefore understand that the royal family are actually quite closely associated with Freemasonry. It's not generally known, but certainly long before the war, in the first part of the 20th century, it was not uncommon for Freemasons in the royal family to be seen going about their Masonic business, laying foundation stones, for example, being things like the Illustrated London News, picture posts and things like that. So the priorities, the image, the profile the royal family had was very much higher. So, I don't want to detain you too long from the bar, but if anyone has any questions, we will collectively try and answer them.
So, who will take over on him?
We don't know. His brother, the Duke of Kent, is the Grand Master of all the Freemasons at the moment. He is very, very elderly now and quite frail. We don't know who's going to replace him, but there are rumours, you know.
Will there still be ties though?
Yes, we believe so. We believe so. He shows no sign of giving up yet. The way it works is because he's a Prince of the Blood Royal, he cannot act as the Grand Master of this province, Provincial Grand Master, in terms of doing any of the day-to-day business. For that reason, we have somebody called a Pro-Provincial Grand Master. Middlesex is the only province that has that. And the Pro-Provincial Grand Master is currently called David Allen. In fact, he was amongst us this evening, earlier on. And he acts as the Provincial Grand Master, but he only in the Pro capacity, because Prince Michael is the titular head, as you want to call it.
Thank you.
Once the talk was over, there was the usual photo call. There's me at the back. We had a very, very enjoyable festive board, and a really lovely souvenir was given to me, which was a placemat which had all the information about the lodge and the menu, which came in very handy. All that remains now is for me to thank the brethren of Royal Hanover Lodge for their very warm welcome and their exceptional donation to the Suffolk Festival 2029. Next up, the province of Shropshire.